Right, welcome back. Rana Sahib, we were talking about the audio leaks. The two of the main narrative, the themes in the narrative of the PTI have been one on the foreign conspiracy and two on after the cipher, the second has been on horse trading. Both have, the revelations about both have surfaced. What's your opinion on this now?
Yes, this is absolutely correct to appreciate the situation, that it's all pack of lies they have been propagating, and they have been barking up to the wrong tree. They perhaps said that this conspiracy hoax will work. It has not worked. It has failed altogether because, number one, it was dashed to the ground by the Security Council assessment, and number two, it was substantiated. The lie in it is substantiated by their own conversation. Once they were trying to tamper with the record, and they were trying to prepare the minutes according to their own whimsical behavior. By all means, they have been time and again proven to be liars, and I'm sorry to use this word for them because I'm not in favor of such a diction using for them. But somehow or other, repeatedly, they are committing the same mistake and the same blunder, unfortunately. And they are very consistent in their conduct, rather in their misconduct. So that they have don't have any appeal. And as far as this thing, which is today's leak, once he is talking about the horse trading himself, and he is so convinced about his credentials in getting success in horse trading, that too is a blunder on his part.
Rana Sahib, let me come back to you. Please stay with us. Let me come back to you. We have with us Dr. Zarqa Taimur. She's a senator with PTI. I will come back to you. Ji, Dr. Zarqa, can you hear me?
Ji, I can hear you. Can you hear me well?
Dr. Zarqa, the narrative of the PTI, again, two of the main themes in your narrative as far as Imran Khan Sahib is concerned, the PTI is concerned. One has been the cipher, and that this was a conspiracy that stemmed from abroad, and two has been the use of the use of buying and selling votes, which is something again the PTI has maintained and they still maintain. Do you still maintain it? What is the narrative of the PTI after these audio leaks now?
Thank you, Mahrukh. You see, the current government is doing everything in its power to take attention away from the price hike that they've brought in, the price index, which is sensitive price index, which has gone up to 48%, and inflation, which has gone beyond 30%. This kind of crisis we have not seen in Pakistan in the last 50 years. The last time this happened was after 1971, when Pakistan East and West Pakistan were separated. So it is phenomenal what they have achieved in 5 months, and now their only defense that they can come up with is a war of narrative.
Dr. Zarqa, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, he said that, he's categorically said that as if the audios are something, he himself, his own audio came out earlier. And then he's also said that, as far as, of course, as far as, your price hike, inflation, that itself, what you've said, that is one, another argument that you've given out. But otherwise, as far as this narrative is concerned, as far as horse trading is concerned, Imran Khan Sahib was saying that there was a lot that was said by the former Prime Minister. One of those things being that, the children of these people who had resorted to this practice wouldn't be able to get married. It would lead to, so many things were said by the former Prime Minister. Does he still stand by the same remarks? Does the PTI still stand by that same narrative? Does it stand by this audio? What is the stance of your party? What is the stance? Are you refuting it? What are you saying about the audio now?
If you will let me speak and not interrupt.
I will, Dr. Zarqa, please, I will, but it is my, I am here because I have to ask you the question, and that's about the audio. We will talk about the economy, but my question is primarily about your narrative about the audio.
Yes, my dear, about the audio. Now, these people, this Rana Makul, I was hearing him They are very good at talking about things when it's not about them. So they are experts in cutting and pasting. They've done that with the Calibri fonts, the Qatari letters, and the audio they have come out with for allegedly of Imran Khan, Prime Minister Imran Khan, is one of cut and paste. It is broken in the middle, and they've just pieced it together to come out with, as you have said, the narrative. There is such a thing as reality, and there is such a thing as narrative. Now, they can come out with all the narratives they like, and they are sitting in the Prime Minister house, and they have breached security, they have breached the Secrets Act, because the way they are leaking their own and other audios to kind of build a narrative of credibility, it is not fooling anyone but themselves.
Dr.
Because
Zarka, are you
this
saying that the
audio,
audios are being leaked by the government? Is that what the PTI is saying?
so well, who is leaking the audios? Because they're sitting in the Prime Minister house, and all the agencies, the intelligence agencies, are under the Prime Minister. And how is this possible? You see, in anywhere in the world, if there were leaks like this going on, the Prime Minister would resign. It is a huge, huge scandal. And look at
But
this
it's
government, this Prime
okay.
Minister. Please let me continue. This Prime Minister, his narrative was, I will sell my clothes if there's a price hike. I have not seen him selling his clothes. I have seen him spending the government's and the people's tax money by staying at the plaza, by going internationally, every country that they can think
According
of.
to Dr. Zarka, let me come back to you. I have to go to Rana Maqbool Saab. But according to the government, according to the Prime Minister, he said that as far as that trip is concerned, and he said that this is a documented fact, he's paid for that trip and the stay in New York while attending the UNGA session out of his own pocket. The government says that their own audios have also come out, and therefore it exonerates them, and that it is no way, they've categorically refuted any such assertion, any such allegation that they could have come out from from the government side. Let me come back to you. I'll let you answer this. Ji Rana Saab, your take on this.
Yes, I really respect Honorable Senator Dr. Zarka, but I may very humbly and respectfully submit to her that these audios, do you think these are absolutely fake audios? Aren't their voices audible there? It's
She's
therefore the
saying, I
inquiry
think that she's saying that they've been, they're disjointed, or, according to her and the PTI, that they're joined.
Okay. They say now they are saying that is tainted. Now, if the investigation is on, now the investigation will be the carried out for the sonographic test. Sonographic test means test of voice. Then it will be forensic test. It will be ocular. It will be documentary test. And the circumstantial evidence will also be analyzed. And total result of investigation will be put before the court. If it's feasible or it's substantive evidence available, then they'll be prosecuted for the fact which is there mentioned in the audio, which is highly under law objectionable. So the question will be solved once the investigation is complete, which is being expeditiously carried out by the experts from a variety of agencies and from a variety of fields. Dr. Sabha very kindly said about the price hike. Would we analyze who was responsible for price hike? Why did you betray the agreement which you made with the IMF? Why did you rather stab in the back of the country and the nation? And total load has been lumped on the present government due to wrong policies. And why didn't they catch hold of the scandals like sugar scandal, wheat scandal, medicine scandal, LNG scandal? Have they grappled with any situation anywhere? So they handed over this heritage, this government, which is totally turbulent. Therefore, the government is trying to manage, and you are observing yourself the way dollar is now coming down like anything, and the prices of the daily consumer goods like vegetable and other are going, pulses are going down. And I think within a month or so, situation will be handled. So only propaganda cannot work. No, she has very kindly said about the Calibri font. Okay. So why did you fail in proving it in the court of law? Why the court of law, the division bench has thrown it away? What's the answer to this question? Had there been some truth in it, they would have succeeded in getting the conviction upheld by the High Court. It means that there was nothing in that. And if you read the judgment of the trial judge, if you read 172 page, para number 2, the trial judge saying there is no incriminating evidence on record against Mia Nawaz Sharif and against Mariam Nawaz, and they are not found guilty of corruption and corrupt practices under Section 9(5) of the National Accountability Ordinance. Hence, they are acquitted. This is the order of the trial court. Hence, they are acquitted. Kindly read between the lines. Okay, if there is some substantial material, come forward. You don't have irrebuttable evidence, and it is only asking for moon and trying to resort to propaganda, fallacious propaganda. This is not on. Therefore, my submission will be, well, let's read between the lines and try to understand.
Rana Sahab, let's go to Dr. Zarqa. I think I'll let her answer this. Dr. Zarqa, 2 or 3 things that, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I didn't like it that you closed my mic when I was speaking last.
Please go ahead, Dr. Zarqa. Please, I'll let you answer what Rana Sahab is.
But Mahrukh, I find it very biased on your part. When I'm speaking, you put the mic off, and when I have something to say and you interrupt me. You interrupted me 3 times last time. If this is the case, maybe you should not have someone from PTI, because you're not.
Dr. Zarqa, Dr. Zarqa, I'm sorry if you feel that way, but we want you to, your narrative is important, of course.
Yeah, you like people to be on your show, but you don't let them speak.
Please, I always give you as much time as I give the other guests. I'm sorry if you feel that way. Please continue.
The question I was asking was that you said that the Prime Minister said that he went to the United Nations on his own expense, and so did his colleagues. We would like to see the receipts. We would like to see what they paid the Air Force for the plane they chartered from the Air Force. We would like to see what and who paid for the Plaza Hotels, $4,000 a night for 7 nights each for each of the ministers. And allegedly the Prime Minister stayed in the room which was for $10,000 a night. So we would like to see the receipts, and we would like to see proof, number 1. Number 2, the gentleman is talking about the Senator, Honorable Senator Rana Maqbool is saying that the courts acquitted Mr. Nawaz Sharif and Mariam Nawaz. Now, I will not say anything about the courts, although the opinion on the courts is very clear. When they have once they've punished them, they've sent them to jail, and now they've acquitted them, because this government, when it came in, this imported government, they changed the NAB laws to acquit themselves, and 11,000 billion rupees they have taken out of the NAB control, because it is their corruption, which is no longer corruption now that they've changed the NAB laws. And for your information, I would like to let you know that the Canadian universities are currently teaching Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's corruption as a case study.
Dr. Zarqa, I have to interject here. I think that's a fake news, and that has actually been, there has been. Please fact check it. I have, that is my duty to tell you that news itself is incorrect. That news that you're mentioning, as far as these universities are concerned. But I will let you. I've given you ample time. Now, please, I have to go to Rana Sahab also. And Rana Sahab will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is also a matter of record, that as far as the former Prime Minister, as far as the current Prime Minister is concerned, as far as the former CM, Shehbaz Sharif Sahab is concerned, I think it is a matter of record that all his trips abroad earlier on, as CM also, his teams that accompanied him on his business trips, and these are facts that I'm mentioning. This is in no way alluding to any bias. that were actually paid for by their own pockets as far as his representatives were concerned, his MPAs and when he was the CM, and now his team at this time that accompanied him paid for their stay and their expenditure themselves. Rana Saab will correct me if I'm wrong. Ji Rana Saab.
You're absolutely correct. He always paid from his own pocket, and this is just superfluous. This is just playing to the gallery as it's being done, unfortunately. But I hesitate to say, but I must bring it to the knowledge of Honorable Senator. What about this 190 million pounds? I'm happy that you were not the cabinet minister. Otherwise, you had been would have been also held responsible by NAB. Why did you sign that? How would you give that money, which was the government money and the public money, to anybody on your sweet will? Where did that 190 million pounds have gone? What is this? And why did you get 458 canals in a university, and which is in the name of the honorable former prime minister and his lady wife? What is it? Don't you think it is straightaway bargain? How can you defend it? How can you defend this foreign funding and foreign aided events? How can you defend the Toshakana case? How can you defend those two accounts where the huge money was deposited by the former prime minister and it was withdrawn, and it was not disclosed in his asset statement? What is this? And there are many other issues. And why did that lady, namely, who was living with them, escaped? So there are circumstances and circumstantial, solid, irrebuttable evidence. Let us contest those cases which you can't prove and you can't substantiate. You have tried your best, you got them confined, and you really caused a lot of tribulations to them. The lady, your opponent, the young lady who was put to death cell, who was deprived of the medicine, who was in solitary confinement. It's how you treat the ladies, and the lady was picked up in front of her father while she was sitting in jail. Is it how you behave with the people? So how can you justify all these, I think, absolutely unacceptable acts, rather these barbarian acts? How can you justify that? So therefore, their case is totally indefensible. Let them try. They are going to the people. Now people will finally decide. But at the same time, the law will also take its own course. You can't stop it.
So therefore, I'm going to go to Dr. Zarka. Dr. Zarka, Rana Saab has mentioned two things. Once he's saying that, how will the people react to this? What does the PTI feel as far as your followers are concerned, as far as people in your jalsas are concerned? What is likely, what do you expect? What are the likely ramifications of these audios? Do you think there will be any? And as far as the law is concerned, there's a statement that's come out from the Interior Minister. He said that although they don't, the Information Minister, Mariam Aurangzeb, has said that, the government doesn't believe in victimization, but the law will take its course. What do you expect from these two different quarters as far as the law is concerned and as far as your voters are concerned? Do you expect there to be a reaction?
Well, you've seen the reaction the day that the government was changed, the vote of no confidence was brought, and the way this imported government was brought in. You saw that on the 10th of April, there was a leaderless, there were congregations all over Pakistan in all the major cities, and that is continuing. And that is what the protest of the people of Pakistan who can see how their rights are being usurped by a government with 74 cabinet members at a time of such financial crisis, where such an unsympathetic, unrealistic and corrupt government, which has not been able to deliver anything except misery to the people by doubling the price of oil, doubling the price of all daily commodities. The dollar's gone up, and Pakistan is on the verge of collapse. And everywhere, the LCs are not, banks are not honoring LCs. There's going to be a huge crisis now that the winter is here, and they have not been able to do anything except get their cases taken off the benches of the courts, except giving themselves NRO to the tune of 1100 billion rupees. And then they've taken the Mariam Nawaz and Mr. Nawaz Sharif have been taken off. Their punishment has been forgiven, and they've sort of been. So this is what they came for. They have no interest in the people of Pakistan, and the people of Pakistan have seen through this hypocrisy and this. They've been around for more than 30 years in government. We were only there for 3.5 years. If they were so good, nobody would have brought us in.
Dr. Zarqa, is it true, Dr. Zarqa, as far as does the PTI not stand, with the cipher anymore and with the horse trading generally? Those are two of your keystones as far as, Imran Khan Saab's jalsas now, nearly 6 months after the vote of no confidence that happened. There is every jalsa, every political gathering that has happened has started with the fact that the vote of no confidence was something that stemmed from the cipher and therefore the conspiracy. That is that one narrative. The second being that because of that and the follow-up was the horse trading that happened, and therefore the vote of confidence was not legitimate. If both of those things, does the PTI, if it doesn't stand for them anymore after the audio, then that means, will it accept that that vote of no confidence that happened was legal as far as the former Prime Minister was, ousted legally, and as a result of his parliament, his MNAs not being satisfied with perhaps the performance, with perhaps his policies, with perhaps his own, treatment of his MNAs. Is that what, will the PTI stand for those things?
My dear Mahrukh, there is a narrative that you and the media are touting, which may stem from the 17 billion that this government is investing in the media. And there is the reality which the people of Pakistan have seen through. So whatever Pakistani television channels may scream or shout, or their biased opinion may be all over the place, but the people of Pakistan have seen through it. And that is why this current imported government is unable to hold elections. They're not ready because they can see it. The writing is clear on the wall for them that they are not going to be elected because people have seen the way they've behaved. They've taken the rug out of the people's floors. They have literally bled this country to make their palaces in Avonfield, all over the UK, in the US, in Belgium, in Saudi Arabia. These people are only taking money for this country to put in banks abroad, and that is why. And they don't even go for their treatment in this country. Mr. Asif Ali Zardari is going abroad. So the thing is, why do they come to this country? Only
Dr.
to
Zarqa, let me, on that note,
and
I
then
have
they
with
go
me
abroad
Iftikhar Ahmed, who
Yeah.
Zahid Gashkori, who is a senior journalist. Let me come back to you. I will come back to you. Zahid Sahab, as far as the two, again, my question to the PTI representative with us has been mainly that this deflates two of the audio itself, allegedly deflates two of the main keystones of the narrative that has been given out by the former Prime Minister. As an independent journalist, my question to you is, what is the likely effect, in your opinion, of this on the followers, on the voters? What is it likely to be, in your opinion?
I think, Mahrukh, it seemed that this alleged audio of former Prime Minister now being leaked. We don't know that who is leaking such internal and secret discussion, informal discussion. Most likely at Prime Minister office, he's talking about his political party narrative. Otherwise, he seemed to be struggling to actually cope with the move when he was ousted before in the office. So it looks like it seemed to be a privacy breach. It raises many questions, no doubt. But coming back to your question, that it exposes what exactly Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf top leadership was doing to survive the no confidence motion. And it
Zaid sir,
broadly.
there are two or three themes. If you look at the audios, there is one. PTI, according, the narrative that the PTI has given out and Imran Khan Sahab, the former Prime Minister, has given out, is to tell his people, to tell his followers that he is somehow better than, overall any kind of leader or any of his other political opponents. That narrative, does it not stand deflated after his audio in which he talks about, horse trading himself? He also says categorically that nothing, no stone should be left unturned for this one end, which seems to be the fact that the vote of no confidence should be defeated. So it deflates those 2-3 narratives of his, which are, the themes of what he says to the people of this country since the very beginning. Does it not? And, the exposing of it, the nature of the audios and how it exposes him is something the government has also talked about, Prime Minister has also talked about. Again, the effect of it on people that believed in him, how is that, of course, it seems to be something that would, probably have a very damaging effect on the people who believed in that.
Look, MAHRUKH, there is no doubt that it exposed the narrative PTI was trying to build up and the conspiracy saga and so on. And now public ultimately know this now that yes, it was sort of a conspiracy and planning made by PTI itself against to save their skin and just to pull the political narrative made by the party for its survival. It is true. On the one hand, we have seen this, that a couple of audios were leaked, PMLN top leadership, 2 or 3 leaks, and then this started with PTI and 3 damning leaks. Otherwise, it's a massive breach in security of PM office, but absolutely it exposes PTI top leadership. It also exposes that how the plan was being hatched over there. They were trying to save the skin of Prime Minister and the government, but ultimately the fear remained that as the government formed the committee to probe this, that how secret documents or the conversation at the Prime Minister office, the biggest office in the country, was being leaked, and how it's all being is now coming into public domain.
If we talk about this, if we say, according as the audios seem to indicate very clearly that as far as, that narrative, horse trading and the cipher also, the fact that the vote of no confidence, then the reason for the vote of no confidence in its success, would one attribute that to the performance? Would one attribute that, which is what the current government has been saying, to the fact that the representatives of PTI were not getting the kind of response that they would have liked. They were not, the Prime Minister at that time, the former Prime Minister, was not responding to his M&As. Their issues were not being addressed, and that was essentially what was behind the vote of no confidence.
Actually, look, MAHRUKH, again I can tell you that the discussion and the communication and the conspiracy surround about cipher, and ultimately Imran Khan himself in a TV interview said that he did not know about the cipher, or where did it go. But on the other hand, and the government itself, the media, that cipher went missing at Prime Minister office. But obviously, the copy of this cipher might be available at the Foreign Office of Pakistan. It's also with the Pakistan Supreme Court Chief Justice. So ultimately, a probe committee has also been formed to look into the cipher existence as well as it's
Right,
about
whether-
content. But
Right, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time. Zaid Kashkori Saab, your very valuable input. I'm going to go to Rana Saab. Rana Saab, that's when we talk about the vote of no confidence, which is a legal way of ousting, a leader of the House, very much within the Constitution and all of that. Then in your experience, in your view, what is the reason for the vote of no confidence to be successful? Let's, for the moment, discount horse trading being one of the reasons after this audio. Ji, Rana Sahab.
That is there. The truth has come out as far as the latest audio of today is concerned. There is no iota of doubt about it because the things must have happened like it has been mentioned in the audio. But I will, with your permission, I'll submit a few facts just to put the record straight as far as Dr. Zarka's kind of observations are concerned. She said they have done nothing for the country. Why your defense is impregnable and invincible? Had he not made it finally nuclear, Mian Nawaz Sharif, you would have not enjoyed this luxury of doing everything, hunting with a hound and running with a hare. India would have straightened you like anything. This invincibility is due to his contribution. How come the people starting from Peshawar reach Sakhar comfortably praying for him, and then there is a bumpy road from Sakhar to Karachi? You couldn't put a single brick for the last 4
Right,
years.
unfortunately,
And
Rana Sahab, we're running out of time. I have to go to Dr. Zarka before we close. Ji, Zarka. Sorry, there's a problem with audio. Overall, as far as, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Dr. Zarka, thank you for joining us. Rana Maqbool Ahmed, thank you for being with us. Zaid Kashkori Saab, thank you for joining us. As far as the narrative of the PTI is concerned, which was that as far as the vote of no confidence success was resting, one on the cipher and two on there being horse trading pursuant to the cipher, which was part of the conspiracy. Both of those seem to have been deflated after the audio. Now, of course, the issue of performance, why the vote of no confidence was a success, perhaps is something that the former Prime Minister, his party need to reflect upon. And whether it was his own treatment of his MNAs, his own, whether their own grievances had not been met, whatever the reasons, it is now time for the former Prime Minister, his political party, to look at their own narratives and, as they've been given out to the people. And how the effect they will have on his vote bank. Of course, the government says that they do not believe in victimization, but the law must take its course. Let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks after the expose as it stands after these audios. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.